Why? No, I'm with you. Can we just make it a 400, which is still hard, but at least it's one lap. The
Just do
800.
another 2. Hell, like.
Ay, ay, ay.
The
Well,
800
let's get
is
into something more fun. Let's talk about your signature lurk. Let's get into the hair. Like, you don't have the big. Someone earlier was like, "No fro." They were upset.
Oh, I missed. That's
sorry,
what that. Okay,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
sometimes it's too much and it's hot and I need to get it out of my face. And that's how
and
it's
that was my
been.
question for
Hear
you.
the fro. I love it.
I had it written down because I cannot compete with my hair. My hair doesn't. My hair does what it wants to do, and I always think that if I was to compete with my hair down, I would get over a hurdle and it would just be like, you can't see, blindness. How do you compete without a ponytail? Because I need to know.
I don't know. I think it's like it's grown over the years. So when I first started wearing it out, it wasn't that long. And so it didn't really get in my face. And I think over the years I've just gotten used to it. Because even now, like I haven't had my hair cut since last year and my bangs are long. Like in pictures, they're like right here. So I'm just having to push them behind my ears. But I don't know. It's just over the years, as it's grown, I've become used to it and I don't think anything of it. And a lot of people are like, you would run faster if you pulled it back. I'm like, would
My
I?
mom, when I first started running, she would braid my hair. She would braid my hair in the front, and then like we'd put it in a ponytail. But she was like, "Yeah, so you'd be aerodynamic, and the wind would just right through the braids."
Yes, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. And I've so many people DM me that, like, you might have won your race if your hair was pulled back. And it's like, I don't think I would have.
DMing you. Corey's favorite line is, "Get out of my DMs from your couch. You could never do what I do. So just
like
save your
you might have won the
advice."
race if you were in it, but you weren't because what? Okay, me and my hair will be just
Exactly.
fine.
That's fine.
Exactly.
So wait, off topic, but you said you haven't cut your hair in a year, and you still have this perfect curly cut without cutting your hair in a year.
Yeah, it's still, yeah, I see this lady in Dallas and she does a great job. So it's still holding the shape. It's just longer and I need a little relief on the eyes because the hair does get in the way sometimes, but I just kind of put it behind my ears now.
I stay cutting my hair. My curls know if you don't act right, snip, snip.
I've always wanted long hair. Like if my hair was the lit back, or at least the top, but I haven't made it that far yet. So we're pushing like right here.
You can get there.
Yeah.
My hair used to be terrible, and it's been a journey. It's been a journey, but
mine too. I used to straighten it all the time. So
same. And I used to think I had wavy hair. No, girl, it's just heat damage.
It's heat damage. That's it. Yes, people I went to college with like freshman year that were like seniors at the time, they're like, you look so different because I used to always wear my hair straight. And when I did wear it curly, it was like these long heat damaged curls. And so it does look very different than when I first came to college.
Well, I love it. I'm a fan of it. I love the color.
Thank
I love
you.
switch up with the color. She gives, it's versatile. It's great.
Yeah. So speaking of the hair, can you tell us a little bit about Fear the Fro?
Yeah. So again, I used to always wear my hair straight, but my older sister actually started wearing her hair natural first, like out of our household. And I was like, oh, I could do that. Like, I might could run with that. So I started wearing it out at practice, and one of our trainers at Arkansas at the time, she was a GA. And she started saying that just randomly, like, fear the fro, fear the fro. And I kind of just latched onto it. I started dyeing it red. And then, some purples came. I did blue every once in a while. But it kind of just took off from there. It's kind of funny because now she was a student at the time. She moved away, got her big girl job, and now I'm professional track athlete, fear the fro, like merch and stuff. And so it's kind of cool to see, but it's really just, trying to get people to embrace their natural hair, tell you that your hair is not beautiful as it grows out of your head, and just don't be afraid to
fast with your natural hair growing out of your head.
Right. Like we can rock the natural and run fast, be cute, in the office, out the office, on the track, like it don't matter.
I just feel like this conversation smells like shea butter and coconut oil and tropical fruits. Like I love it because I'm a big advocate for natural, mainly because I'm lazy. But I just love to see it because I feel like a lot of times I don't know growing up, I always straightened my hair for race day. Like that was part of my routine. And now I think it's so important to rock your natural hair, especially like with the platform that we have. Like one of the greatest moments of my life, win world championships. And this guy tweeted me, and it was like his daughter standing in front of the TV while me on the podium, and she has her hair, and she's like looking at my hair, and I was like, this is why you need to like tell kids it's okay to be you, and how your hair grows out is beautiful and it's perfect.
Right.
And I love it.
Absolutely.
But I'm
Yes,
also
when people send me those pictures, it's like it does something to you when it's the pictures
yes.
of little kids and because that's what we want to encourage them to do that and be an inspiration for them. So it's always good.
Absolutely. And to the fans watching, in order to support Talia, you may have to refresh the feed, but we have Talia's store down at the bottom. So
Yes.
you can shop Fear the Fro. People are always asking how to support the athletes and support our entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yeah.
And so we want you to support Talia at Fear the Fro. I'm going to have to go get some things myself.
Or slide into her DMs, ask her for her Venmo, send her $1,000. I don't know, support her.
Support is support.
Send a black woman some money today. Is all I'm saying.
Here's the money today.
But okay, I had a great time. Is there anything else we need to discuss? Because I think it's time to pull on our next guest. But I had so much fun talking to Dalia.
Likewise, if there's anything else you want to say, if we didn't ask you something or.
I don't think so. I'm ready for track to start. Like I'm ready for track.
Same.
I need track.
Yeah.
The Simone Biles thing hurt my heart when I woke up this morning, but I'm ready. I'm ready to see some track. So I'm excited to cheer on Team USA, even if it's in the house. That's okay.
All right.
But,
Well, we loved having you. And now I think we're gonna pull on Jessica, our next guest. But we wish
thank
you
you
the best of
guys.
luck, a great recovery, stay hydrated,
Yes,
stay
ma'am.
moisturized.
Yes, thank you.
Jessica's not here yet. That's okay. We have other.
If you want to stay and hang out with us, that's cool too.
We're gonna talk. We'll just talk about our next topic until Jessica gets here.
Okay.
Or if Jessica doesn't come, you're just me.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you
Bye,
around. Maybe come back later on in the week. Maybe you'll give us your takes on the HEP.
Yeah, yes. I'll be tuning in all week.
Okay, awesome.
Bye, y'all.
Like this is what Track Girl Summer is about.
It's Track Girl Tuesday.
Oh, I like that. I forgot that it was Tuesday. I have no idea what day it is. We have been just going. Just because Jessica is here.
Hey,
they lied. Jessica, they try to make it seem like you weren't on time, like you weren't coming in when you were supposed to be here, but you're here.
She's here.
But while
we get her loaded up, I will do a little intro about her because Jess is my fellow 400-meter diva. Hey, girl. Hey, I see she's coming up on the screen. Hey, she is a Ohio native, Texas A&M Aggie, boo, SEC.
We was in the Big 12 when I was in school. Dang, that date me.
But, oh yeah, that's right. You were Big 12. Yeah, I have that here. You are a 16-time All-American, Big 12, right, 16.
16 of them things!
Get into it. Big 12 and NCAA champ at 400 meters and also a Bowerman winner. Jessica Beard, my teammate.
Can I tell you the first time I met Jessica? Jessica was on my first team. I made juniors at like 16. So I was one of the youngest girls on the team. It was like me and Ash Purpose. And Jessica like took me under her wing, and I just remember telling my mom, I was like, yeah, there's this girl, she's so nice, and she's just so fly, and she had the American flag on her nails, and she was like, yeah, so when I'm in the blocks, I can just be like, boom. And
that sounds like Jessica.
And my dad was like, Jessica has this muscle on her thigh. It's like a square. He's like, you need to keep working till you get that. And I was like, yeah. She's always been body goals for me.
Always. We're gonna get into that. So how you feeling, Jess?
I'm feeling good, just trying to train to a certain point. So I'm ready for spring break. I'm ready for summer break. I'm ready for that before school starts.
Oh, where are you?
I have one semester left of grad school at A&M, so I'm trying to get it done in the fall because it's also offered only in the fall or the summer. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to just get this last semester done, and it starts like August 30th. So I'm like, I don't know when I got to train to, but I'm just trying to. I'm hoping I got a week or two in there where I can eat what I want and do nothing. So yeah.
Okay, so are you in College Station right now? Or
No, I'm in DC right now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
training up here in DC. My coach is in Tokyo with some of my training partners. We have some other coaches back there, but this is closer to home. It's only like 5 hours from Ohio. So,
Okay. Okay. So I wanted to ask how you became a 400-meter specialist. Like, when did you start? Did you start out at any events? Any other events, rather? Did she freeze? Do we need to freeze to refresh our
I don't think.
feed?
I think it's her.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Is she frozen for you guys?
Can you guys see her?
Or is it us?
Mike says she frozen.
Frozen.
Should I try refreshing our feed?
I think maybe she needs to, because it's her, not us.
No, we were doing so good. Okay.
Hopefully she'll be back in.
We'll bring her back once she gets.
This is our first time actually like bringing guests in, so
Yeah.
like bear with us. Someone said I'd never seen Jessica move this. Me either.
Same.
That's hilarious. Well, I guess.
All right. Until we get her back up on the screen, you want to jump into some of the other things that we had planned to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about Tokyo and money.
Wasting all this money.
I don't know if it's a waste. I just want to know where the money's going because this is the most expensive Olympics of all time. Mm-hmm. You were looking up some stats on like the numbers, and it's written in the thing that you're holding, so you can tell it.
So the Olympic Games in Tokyo ended up costing $15 billion. 3 times the original budget. They projected it to be $7 billion, and that was a part of their pitch to, what do they call it?
The IOC?
When the cities pitch to like
to get the bid.
The bid, thank you. That was a part of their bid. Wanda got the money for some.
Wanda shirts are coming soon, guys. We're working on it. So
but yeah, so they projected the Olympics to be $7 billion in Tokyo. And from what I was reading, there's always a discrepancy with like the projection of what it's going to cost, because it's always a projection and it always ends up being over budget. So in 2020, it came out to be about 11 billion or 13 billion, somewhere in there. But with the postponement, added another $2 billion.
I'm trying to figure out where this, like, I know y'all built some pretty stadiums. Why the cardboard beds is what I'm trying to figure out.
Because they were trying to be sustainable. Japan is one of the countries that like they're really like sustain. They recycle, they compost, they.
I get that, but I'm saying selfishly as an athlete, right?
And I feel like that was a lot of the like news coverage too. That like, oh, they built these beds to discourage athletes from having. First of all,
they don't get it.
Cardboard beds ain't gonna stop nobody. But the cardboard beds had nothing to do with COVID. Like those were already in production before COVID.
But all I'm saying is like, as an athlete, right? Biggest performance of my life. I don't know. Maybe I would like a good night's sleep. I would like to sleep on a bed that has a little sturdiness to it, like a nice mattress.
I don't disagree.
And so my thing is with 15, and I feel like there's ways to like find uses for those beds. I understand they're trying to like eliminate waste, but at the same time, like a 15.4 billion. Was part of it going to the athlete's experience? And it's still cardboard. I don't care if you put it this way, that way, or another way, flip it upside down, but the thing now flip it and reverse it, it's still a cardboard
We're gonna get hit for copyrights because you out here Missy Elliott it. Missy Elliott. You know who I'm trying to say. Looks like we're still having trouble getting Jessica on.
Come back to us. I need
back
you.
to me.
But yeah, I'm just like, if the money's going to these stadiums, and I know like they didn't know there wasn't gonna be any fans. But
that's a whole nother thing that like I would be curious to see.
And we'll get into that after Jessica because she's coming up. But
and I saw Victoria said that they look uncomfortable. We're all saying they look uncomfortable. Have we spoken to any athletes in the village? How do they feel?
Here's the thing: is I've been speaking to Corey McGee said that she's fine, but Corey McGee is a distance runner. Like I always wonder about like you have throwers, right? Ryan Krauser once told me that because Europe they have the little skinny twin beds, and he said he hugs it, he bear hugs it so he doesn't fall off as he sleeps. And so my thing is, what cardboard is supporting Ryan Krauser? These basketball dudes, like, and you can't.
The Japanese. All I'm gonna say is the Japanese.
The throwers have real beds.
Very, very resourceful.
The throwers have real beds.
Oh.
But I'm a big body girl. Okay, first of all, she might look like slim thick, but I'm big body. I need a bed. I need a bed too. How you gonna?
Oh,
that's not fair.
That's discrimination. No,
I don't know what it. No, I'm gonna need a big bed. I'm a big girl.
Oh, I gotta look into that.
I don't need a queen or anything. But like I'm gonna need.
Allison brought over the Tempur-Pedic pad and put it over.
And that's
Allison did the bougie things. Allison came over with the memory foam and put it over her mattress and was like, I'm not fooling with y'all. I'm not mad at it though.
No.
After you've been on the circuit for a while though, you start to learn your own little secrets.
And the other thing is like, okay, like because of COVID, you have to fly over 5 days before. So like jet lag is very real because we can't do a camp. Well, although I don't know why.
I don't know how true that is though. See, we going off script.
USATF said,
which I don't understand. Like we always go all out for camp. USAT and I'm gonna tell you this because I actually did some of the like communications relations thing where like they have been building our camp in Narita since like 2016.
Yeah.
And I went over with my coach to do some relation stuff with the community because it's like Team USA is coming over to Tokyo. So, we're building like all of these are the behind the scenes of like how these things happen every year. Like we don't just end up at the World Championships, end up at the games. Like it's years of preparation. Team USA put money into Narita's facilities because the facilities are being set up for Team USA to come to Tokyo for the Olympic Games. And Team USA just canceled and I don't want to say it just canceled because it's COVID is a great reason to cancel things, but I'm just like blown away.
Side note, COVID is a great reason to cancel things in your daily life. If you don't want to go out with your friends, if you are just like, I don't feel like COVID, I've been using it to stay in the house.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. But I'm just blown away at the fact that Team USA threw away all that money. Not saying rightfully or wrongfully so, but I'm blown away because we usually have one of the best training camps and I'm seeing other countries doing it because from what I was told, you can only enter 5 days before your event. But I'm seeing other countries having their camps that I'm like, why did Team USA do us like that?
And if all countries need a camp, Team USA needs a camp because
especially for
these
the
relays.
Yeah.
These come on, we never know who our relay team is going to be.
Yeah.
Which means we have never practiced these handoffs, hardly ever. And especially in the Papa John Panera Bread, we haven't been able to be like, oh, come do these. Come to Texas.
Papa John and Panera is not paying us, so I'm gonna need for you to stop blowing them out, okay? Blowing them out.
You know who I mean, because they should pay me. Actually, I don't want Papa John's
I don't think they want to be
money.
Compared to the virus anyway.
Well, I don't like Papa John's.
Hey. Anyway, but that's like outside looking in. I think that is Justin Forsett. Hey, Justin. That is some information that I will have to like do some research on. Like, what was the true reason behind canceling Team USA's camp? Because I'm seeing other countries doing it. Track and field was told you can't. I mean, there was no Team USA track and field athletes in the opening ceremony. But other countries had their my guess, without doing any proper research or asking the questions, because I hate like saying things and then having to come back and be like, guys, I was wrong. So this is my educated assumption, is that Team USA is so large that it was kind of like, okay, whatever teams are already there. Because I imagine maybe Tokyo put like a cap on how many athletes could be in the opening ceremony.
That would make sense. But I also feel like, okay, if we don't go to, because we weren't going to Tokyo, we were doing our camp. Like, forget the opening ceremonies. Like, even if there was a cap, you should send we should have sent our 4x1 team to do handoffs.
I agree. I do agree with that.
We need, like, Ralph Man doing because you know how he does, like, the in and out as far as, to make sure the stick's moving at the what am I trying to say?
Keep the stick
moving at the highest velocity as possible. Mm-hmm. Just because we don't have control over putting.
Yeah, our producers are working on it. They're texting us, so, letting us know.
But I feel like y'all should have done a hey, we're gonna meet in New York,
and maybe they did.
And maybe they did. We're not on the team. We don't know.
I'll find out though.
We'll find out. We have a couple moles on the team.
You guys hear my little guy?
Yeah, I just think that what event other than track would you to compete in if you could? Badminton?
I actually wouldn't mind beach volleyball.
She don't want to show little peaches in the back. I actually really liked volleyball, but
I liked volleyball in gym too.
But I'd be a baller
in gym class.
Notice
I said gym class.
I'd be out here dunking on them. Because you know I'm 5'9".
Yeah. Have you watched I hope I say this right, dressage?
No. I don't know if you're
it's like the horses are like dancing.
Oh yeah. They be crip walking. Ding, ding, ding. I do like that.
So when
tiptoeing.
Did I say it right, Bob? So I play bingo every Friday, and one of our friends in there, Tanya, I was telling her about, we're doing this. Make sure you guys tune in. And she was like, I see Jessica's back. Maybe we'll get her back on. She was like, y'all, dressage. I watch it every Olympics. And she sent me this link, and I was like, oh my God.
I love indoor volleyball. I used to play indoor volleyball, and I used to play softball. Is actually the reason why I started running track.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm glad that it's back in the Olympics. I have ADHD, undiagnosed, and so softball was just too slow of a sport for me. Mm-hmm. And my mom was like, "Is she back?
We got action.
Hey,
she's back."
Okay, thank you.
Where's the wave?
You good?
Hello there.
Hello there.
Not really
right,
sure
let's
what
pick
happened.
up where we left off.
Okay.
We were talking about how you got into the 400.
Yes.
Well,
I don't feel like people pick that event. I feel like that event.
No, the event picked me. Honestly, I'm sure.
No one ever is like, I want to go die for a laugh.
Yes. Well, I didn't start running until the 9th grade. And so for me, I literally did I never ran track, but they told me it's going to help me with basketball. So I'm like, oh yeah, because ball is life. Like whatever's going to help me with basketball. And I really had to go through a series of events and learn, like, you're not really that good at this. Like I first started with the 100, and I started in like lane 2 and ended in like lane 7. So, they were hot. Like I'm just going across the lanes. And I'm like,
no. Wait. Run that back. Not you Tokyo drifting.
Yes.
How did
you? Look, I just naturally gravitate to the outside.
You're too old for that, right? Like if you would have told me,
I never ran. But I never ran. So that's my natural trajectory to like go right, go to the outside of the lane.
You should have turned left. Everyone knows it's run fast, turn left.
I was on the straight though. I was on the straight, so like you just.
But like I can understand, like I ended in like 3, 4, 7.
They were mad at me for sure, and
I'm mad at you.
I knew that wasn't my event, so the 100 was out.
So the 100 was not your event.
Then they had me do the 800. So we skip, so I go through the line and they're like, oh no, you have another lap. Excuse you. So I did the other lap and I was like, I don't really like this. And then I did the 400 the next day and I ran 64, but they said I did same arm, same leg the whole time. I don't know. I don't know.
You out
but
here?
That's not even
yes.
Jessica.
I'm just letting you know how I got there. So out of all my scenarios, that was the best
from
one.
The bottom.
And now I'm here. So that's how I got into the 400. Really didn't like it. But that was my best event. And, I won state my freshman year. And then I was just like, man, I guess
what state
this
are you
is
from?
Ohio.
Hitters. So you went from running both arms.
So that's
same arm, same leg, 64 to state champion in one season.
Yeah. I had a teammate who was a state runner-up, the previous year. She was a senior. So she beat me all year. And I was just like, just follow after her. Just follow after Heather. And so
and then something told you just pass Heather.
Finally I got to be. I don't think I beat her to like districts or regionals. I was just like, wow. But she had the high jump, so she was like, yeah. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Not you stealing rings.
So what I'm hearing here is started from the bottom, hot mess.
Yes. Not even the bottom, the trenches, the gutter. Like
state champ, now one of the best 400 runners in the world. So if anybody caught that message out there, just work with it.
And
find what you good
at. Keep going.
Just you don't have to put your kid in track at 5. You can wait till 9th grade and not even tell how to run.
For sure. It took me a while. I used to negative split.
I'm still stuck on 2 to 7.
She's even
I tried.
Right.
Right.
Weird,
the trajectory. Yeah.
Were you? Can I? Okay. I'm. So were you going in front of people or behind? Because there's other people.
I was in front of. I was going like in front. I told you they were very upset. That they're like, "What are you doing? Get out the way!" I'm like, "I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know."
Excuse me,
I was not ready for this tea. Have you ever told anyone this story? Have we?
This is a Track Girl Summer exclusive.
I don't know. Not often. Not often.
I wouldn't either. I'll keep that secret to myself.
Yeah, but.
And I feel you on the 800. I have a rule. I don't cross the finish line and not finish. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah. We became state champs my sophomore year in the 4x8. So it kind of paid off, but yeah, it kind of paid off. Yeah, at state. You don't have 4x8 at state?
I feel like we had a 4x8 at state. But all right, well,
my team didn't have a relay team regardless to get the state, so it didn't matter.
The shade of it all.
No, they knew.
So how are you feeling? You mentioned you're training. You're trying to figure out when to train to, like what. You looking to obviously compete for the rest of the summer. Have you? I didn't see you go over to Europe at all. Are you planning to go over to Europe?
No. Maybe it just kind of depends. How things kind of go, I think, and just kind of seeing how numbers and things like that look. I mean, I live in Florida, and I mean, with certain things, the numbers are high there. So I'm like, I know it's a little more strict in Europe, which I appreciate if it is. But so we'll see. I don't really know yet. And like I said, school starts the 30th. So for me, if I could just get a week. So if nothing's past the 23rd, I would love that. So I don't know when some of the meets are. I know some of them are.
I would love to highlight that because I feel like people think that like track is just during track season. Like we get no breaks. Like our off season is not a season. It is a week, maybe 2. Depending on the year, it might be 3. Yeah. But people really don't understand that coach be like, you get one week to go to an island or something, go see your family. Either or. You can't do both. And then come right back here for fall training.
Well,
For sure.
I'm sure you're going to take a little bit more of a break, but you're
She
just
just in a
saying you
week.
start, but she's saying she starts class in a week. So she's saying like a week of having absolutely nothing, right?
Yeah.
But I
'Cause
imagine that you're going to take more than a week off from training.
yeah, probably at least probably like 4 to 6 weeks, somewhere like
Yeah.
that. Something like that.
Like 2 weeks off, and then you have to like start doing like baby stuff and like
Well, that's
caring.
yeah.
Flo's crazy.
So, so how are you feeling after trials? How are you? First of all, you had a great season. I was down here watching you like, ooh, Jess is out here killing it. I need to get my butt on the track. How are you feeling after trials with the rest of the season coming up, races coming up? Feeling good about closing out the year on a good note?
Yeah, for sure. I am, I want to run like 50 point again at least. I feel like that's one of my main goals. I'm just like, man, this 51-1 just keep, I don't know, it's just keep showing up. I'm just like, So hopefully I'll have a couple more races to do that and finish out the season. That's a high note for me,
Yeah.
trying to accomplish that and just really finishing healthy. I think that's the main thing, because when you're healthy, you can train like you want, you can compete like you want, and yeah, and so you can just, it's just better when you're healthy. I know y'all know that. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Just trying to stay healthy, trying to stay, in it. It's kind of hard. Like I said, a lot of my training partners are, either away at the Olympics, or I'm not there in Florida. So kind of, training on your own, getting up every day and being like, hey, remember you said you wanted this. I'm like, I know, but I also said I wanted cake. So, you got to just keep pushing past those things like, okay, you can't have no cake. Not right now, have grapes instead. You're just like, guess I
Not
have
grapes.
grapes.
You know what? I think that's something that's missed about our sport, right? You're bringing up a great point that like a lot of times, not even just the Olympics, sometimes it's a track meet that maybe your coach went with your training partners, or vice versa. You went to a track meet and your coach stayed back. And you still have to work without your coach there. You still have to find that motivation without your training partners there to push you through the workout. So I think that that's a great point that you bring up, that I don't think a lot of people get, that sometimes we really are, we call it an individual sport, but sometimes we really are out there individually.
Sometimes we're like, hey mom, can you time no one thing about track, and I'm like, just yell out when the clock says 15, please. And she's like, okay, I don't know why you have me out here. Mom will come to practice with a book, and I'm like, I need you to pay attention.
Yeah, you're just out there just trying to, sometimes you don't even have someone out there to call out times, and you're just trying to wing it and hit the time, stay on pace.
Like, that was off. Too fast, too slow. Oh, well.
For sure. Or if you got one of those watches, you can put the little time, the time is supposed to be here beeping like, oh my gosh, I only got 5 seconds to get here. And it might take me 6. So yeah, for sure. It's definitely a process just to stay in it and to stay just motivated, intrinsically. Like even when you do have other people, it does help, but you have to keep showing up, mentally and physically. So y'all know how it goes.
And if y'all can't motivate yourself and you need a little help to get the tummy right, get it tight.
But beyond the tummy, Jessica posts, like, I don't want to say beyond, because we are going to talk about that, but you post very motivational and encouraging content. So if you need a little pick me up, you need some spiritual guidance, Jessica, Rain 2 is the one to follow.
Yeah.
And get your fix. Is it Faith Filled Friday? Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's right.
But on Tuesdays, tell me right. So you can also go to her website and do some one-on-one coaching.
One-on-one session.
And just get the core together.
I haven't seen any abs like it, so go ahead and book those.
Thank you.
Bless it.
Yes. It's a journey. Well, y'all know how it is, like,
popping up.
Let me check.
We don't tell them to have your tummy time sessions pop
up. I'm actually gonna post. Well, I'm gonna post it on my YouTube, because they're like, you're the most YouTubing, non-YouTubing person I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody told me it takes all of this
It's so much work.
You know, I'm cutting it down. I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I want this here. Or I want this here. I'm like, oh my gosh, no music, you know, that kind of thing. And so, but I do have I'm going to put part of it on my Instagram today, but I do have a Tummy Tuesday video on that I'm going to put on my YouTube, because I had several people that's like, I was doing Tummy Tuesday with you. It's Rain Gold.
Rain Gold. But like rain, like I reign as a king, queen, not rain
Yes.
like rain down on me.
That's not where I thought you was going with that.
We should probably do a Track Girl Summer Tummy Time where we
collab.
Follow.
I feel so. I feel like
we're gonna hit you guys up.
I'm subscribed.
Cause I need to get my core together.
Same.
I've been injured, and I've just been like, well. Flo was like, "You're off for the next foreseeable," and I was just like, "Okay, I haven't touched a core ab or anything, so I'm gonna need to do a crunch or two."
Okay, well you can just try it's 150 abs. I have beginner and advanced, but the beginner's gonna be too easy. But
I give me intermediate.
And that's what I'm kind of working on. Yeah, yeah, funny. The Tummy Tuesday video is gonna be 150 abs in 4 minutes. I know y'all, or less than 4 minutes. I know y'all can do that. That's like light work.
Light work. They said give us a preview now.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't have to give us a preview, but yeah, give us a little breakdown of what the different packages are: beginner, intermediate, advanced.
I think I made up intermediate.
No, she got intermediate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the intermediate, I'm working on that. That's supposed to be at the because I realized that some people weren't advanced, but the beginner was too easy. So the beginner program is pretty much set up where you'll do like 3 days a week, and then it's actually like breaks in between. And I also recommend like different exercises for you to do, because doing abs alone, you have to do some type of cardio. And so I have like a nutrition card in the packet, which pretty much are recommendations of things that I try to tell you to avoid during the 30 days. So, I'm saying like no soda, no white sugar, no fried foods. Those are all just suggestions. Because as y'all all know, it's not just exercise. It's also,
if you don't like your results, don't come crying to me.
Don't come if you're not gonna do it.
All right.
Because this is just for 30 days. We can do brown sugar,
right?
Sure. Let's try.
It was just Juneteenth. Can I have
there's
brown
honey.
Sugar?
There's agave.
How about
then
stevia?
Like
stevia, okay?
I hate stevia.
Yeah, that is. Stevia is good.
That aftertaste.
Stevia is good. And then like I want to say like on the first day, it's the beginner is really light. It's like 10, 10, and 10 or something. I mean, it's really just trying to get you going, but then it'll increase either in like reps, in sets. It'll go up to 15 and that kind of thing. And it really is just over a course of 30 days. It's really just to get people to form a habit or a routine, just for discipline. So like I said, so some days it might tell you abs and it'll tell you a cardio, and it'll literally say, elliptical, jog, jump rope, and then it'll be from like, I think I recommend 30 to 45 minutes of some type of cardio. And then I also have days in there where I'm incorporating like you need to rest, because I think sometimes people are like, you must work out every day.
Yeah.
You only eat carrots. I'm like, what is going on here? I eat full meals. And so, just trying to get people into the routine. Some of the people I do the Zoom sessions with. So we meet for 40 minutes on Zoom, and we do kind of like a warm up, and then we do abs. And the warm up is pretty much just to get your blood flowing. It's almost like HIIT in a sense, if you're thinking about something. So high intensity intervals. And what else? I think that on there, I had a woman, she's like, I love juice. I have a client, she's like, I can't stop juice. And I was like, I don't want you to go cold turkey, but if you're drinking juice every day, like for the next 2 weeks, let's try to do it for 3 or 4 days. So now people have to pick and choose. Oh my gosh, this day I'm not going to have juice. And I remember she was like, oh my gosh, I'm down to juice to 1 day a week. I was like, okay, look at you. And incorporating more water. Yeah. Or I told her, you want lemonade, make it yourself. I think a lot of people, once you tell them, oh, make it yourself, they're kind of like, that's a lot of work. I don't really want to do that. But that's actually healthier, because now you can see how much you're putting in it. Yeah, how many lemons you have to use, your water. So that's pretty much what the programs are. I think I also want to create something, that's kind of in the works right now, where people can kind of do it with me. So you click on it and we're literally doing, it'll say what the workout is, but then we'll do it together. Like I'm literally going through the workout with you, because I think some people need that type of accountability. So I think that's also, another thing. But at the same time, no one's going to be more accountable than yourself. And I always tell them that, like, I'm proud of you, but not more proud than you should be of yourself, because you're doing the work. And so.
And if your Instagram is Rain 2?
2. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go follow Jessica on. If you're like, oh no, like go look at her abs, and I guarantee you won't want to get on her program because Lord today.
Also, if you refresh your feed, we have her Tummy Tuesday offer down at the bottom. So just refresh your feed and you can click on that. And you'll get all of the packages, all of the information is right there. She made it very easy for you to sign up for beginner and immediate advanced. Nothing better than being motivated and supported by the professional herself.
Yeah.
As she said, she gives suggestions. And if you don't follow the suggestions, that's on you. But the results speak for themselves, as you can see if you go to Rain 2, go to Tummy Tuesday.
Yeah, that. Oh, she's just, because I feel like I'm the most disciplined person. Like I'll do something if someone tells me to do it, no problem. But like routines are very hard for me to get into. Like doing something.
Once I have the routine, it's fine. But I just said this earlier, like 30 days. It's about once you do something for a certain amount of time, then it becomes a habit. Yeah. It's the challenge to start the habit.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I've had some people's like, I'm ready to lose weight, and after the first day, that's like, I'm not coming back. I'd rather just, stay how I am. So kind of just realizing like pain is a little bit of the process. I mean, we hear that, but when you actually feel it, just like the first week back, you're like, oh my gosh, the weight room, I can barely walk, or this workout, I could barely breathe, and it's just like, man, all of that's just, well, you should be breathing though through Tummy Tuesday. If you're not breathing, then we don't breathe. But just just with certain things, it's just how important it is to really just to stick with it, even if a part of the process is difficult. That's what I should use, difficult.
Yeah, because it always gets worse before it gets better. I tell everyone, like, when you start, when I tell people like, hey, going natural, whether it's doing a workout, they always like, you're gonna struggle, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is a little easier, Someone says it takes 21 to 60
Jessica
days.
said it takes 21 to 60 days.
Anywhere in between that range. Yes. So anywhere from 3 weeks to a couple months. Did we miss today's Zoom? No, it's at 7. Well, I have different slots because some people's like 7 doesn't really work for me, but it's at 7 today, 7 p.m. Eastern time. But I also have like 8 p.m. because I just realized that some people, they work late, which for me, that was just foreign. I'm going to practice at 9 in the morning. I'm like, the day's done.
You're not done by 3?
I'm done by 1. I know. I'm like, this is nuts.
And if you're on the West Coast trying to link in, like 8 is really
and
5.
All these things, I'm just like, man. So then like Tuesdays used to be the best option for me because I'm normally off on Wednesday. So I can go to 9 o'clock. Because in the summer in Florida, we're having 7 a.m., 7:30 practices because it's so hot. Right. So I'm in bed 9 o'clock. So yeah.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
For you too, as a unit. What's it like being on that 4x4 team?
What is it like?
Depends on the what part of it are you talking about? Yeah. And then
I want to know. I want to. I'm just gonna sit here, get my and just sit.
Well, I will say I don't think the 4x4 has as much drama as the 4x1 does.
For sure.
Really?
I don't think so. Now,
no, I think
before Jessica came on the scene,
I would just like to say 2015, and then that's all I'm gonna say.
2015. Oh yeah, that was. But see,
I think it just depends.
Yeah, the drama is actually more so the outside folk talking, but inside.
Y'all cool? Y'all be kumbaya?
I wouldn't say that.
All right.
But I wouldn't say that like we're talking mess to each other on the, it's kind of like drama exists, but we got a job to do. So the drama, like,
I always say,
because if you let the drama come between my check, then.
And I always say that, like, I don't.
Well, what do you think, Jess?
I think it's changed over the years. I feel like from my first year in 09, when I was 20, and it's like you're the youngest on the team, to 2019, I feel like it's drastically different, both of those experiences, even some of the other ones. I think with any sport there's politics, and of course I think there are some. I feel like now what I've witnessed in like 2019 is, to some degree, politics being set aside, and it really being decisions made based on um performance and who's kind of shown their fitness, rather than other factors that have been, I feel like, kind of at the forefront, as far as preference, and whatever other whatever other things that people might consider, oh, this is more important. It used to be like in 09, it was like, you ran well on your first leg, but you're not going to run the final because you don't have as much experience, and of course I'm like, I'm 20, I'm like, this is so true, this is my first team, I don't have any experience. Like, you're completely right. And then as I got older, I'm just like, man, if you never run in a final, how do you get experience? And so then it became, is it just about experience, or is it about how is somebody looking at training over there? Or is it about, well, this person placed this high at trial, so they have to be on it, even if, they don't look as fit as somebody else. And so I've seen all these other factors, relay coaches, some coaches, preferring a certain athlete on the relay. I've seen it, like 2019, I think, was especially one of the first years where I saw people say, a lot of people's like, it's going to be like this because this is how it's always been. And then something totally different was. I feel like all the people who ran the final were the people who were supposed to run the final based on performance, based on, what they achieved there and in that time. And I don't know, I think that's a great thing, because that means to me that the sport is progressing in a positive manner. I feel like I used to have to kind of give that speech. I told Phyllis once, I was like, I know you're doing well, but if they're probably not gonna pick you. I'm like, don't get your hopes up. And I was like, man, I hate to give this speech to a young person coming in, and now I don't feel like that's necessarily the case, as I feel like it was always the case for the most part, like 90% of the time. So I'm happy to see the sport progress in that way, where it's like, man, like we saw 2 400 hurlers on the 4x4, and I feel like I used to see like Lashinda on it, and
Sure.
I mean she won worlds that year, but other than that, I don't feel like I've really seen that, but it made sense. And so to me, I feel like the integrity of the sport, as far as the 4x4s, have gotten better and more fair than previous years, where I felt like it's completely unfair in some instances. So
I like that you because I wasn't there in 2019, but I was a part of some drama in 2017, and I chose to speak up. And in speaking up, I realized that a large part of the issue was, as you said, the politics and just kind of normalizing what it was, that like we had gotten used to, that like the coaches are going to pick their favorite. The coaches are going, they're going to do the whole experience thing. And I just kind of got to the point where it was like, okay, if they pick me, they pick me. I'd done several years of like just running the prelims, and then made my way into like running the final, not running the prelim, but only running the final. But then also seeing how there was total miscommunication, and a communication in a way that I was like, I'm not used to this. I'm at least told you're running or you're not running, or you're in a runoff or you're not in a runoff. And in my situation in 17, I was in a runoff that I didn't know that I was in a runoff. And so I spoke up for that. But then in speaking up for it, I realized that other athletes were in the same position before, where it was like they wouldn't even know till the morning of that they were running the final. And it's like, how do you prepare for the final at the Olympics, and you don't even know you're running till the morning? Like, that's not, but that was the culture of the relays, and we had all kind of just grew to accept that,
for sure.
So it makes me happy to hear that after that, hopefully some of the kerfuffle that I kicked up
Yeah.
made a change in that. Like, throw
Yeah.
politics out. Like, it's really about putting the best four legs out there.
Yeah.
You got to show fitness. You got to show camaraderie, professionalism, all those things to show up on the track. So that makes me happy to hear, and hopefully we see some more of that professionalism.
Yes.
Because now we have 2 relays.
Yes.
Yeah, the mixed.
And that. Yeah, it's even that
How do you feel about the mixed
is.
relay?
I love it. I mean, 2019 was the first time I ever ran it, and for it to be at Worlds, I was just like, man, this is what I've been missing out on, at World Relays. But I really enjoyed it. It's kind of nerve wracking, like when someone's coming in and you're trying to wave them in, like,
what am I supposed to do?
And I'm like,
what
oh
am I
my
supposed
god,
to
I'm
do?
like, do I get out hard? Like, I mean, we were practicing it, and I was like, man, he done almost went past me. Like, this is something. But it was just a great feeling. I feel like, I can only imagine maybe how it would have been if it kind of switched up and my leg was against a guy. I don't know. I don't know how I would have felt about
like,
that.
In
Probably
my head,
good
like,
and bad.
If Fred Curley is running me down, like, I don't know.
What am I supposed to do with that? Let me tell you, when I heard about the mixed relay, I was like, I don't know if I'm interested in that, especially if like you can put your legs however you want to. There's no like, but also I do like the opportunity that it creates for everyone in the sense of like, no shade, no tea, Team USA. We just got so much talent that thank God we have another relay now to put some people that like, you're performing awesome, but sorry, we're Team USA. You're just not that good on Team USA.
We have so many.
But then it does provide other opportunities also for other countries as well, like
to get
Team USA. No, actually, we didn't win the first one at World Relay.
We didn't get it right.
The Bahamas won.
At this point, I expect us. When it comes to realism, like, I expect us to win.
I expect excellence.
I mean, y'all have spoiled me. I have a question for both.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. I know Natasha remembers in like 2013, we really won, but at the time we got second because Russia cheated, and so like that was the question everywhere. Was like, are you guys happy with a silver medal, or like would you have preferred the gold? I'm like, everybody prefers the gold.
We got because we were screw faced on the podium.
They were like, y'all should have, and so it's like a double-edged sword. Like, y'all should have been grateful y'all got a medal, but then it was like
grateful to lose
medal. It's just like it was just a very interesting place to be in. I mean, literally. And then the questions were just about you didn't have we didn't have Sonya. Allison had got hurt that year in the 200, so they were like, do y'all think y'all would have won without them, or what? I'm just like, what are all these questions? And the reality was, I had to tell them, like, we're not always gonna have them. We're not always gonna have Natasha. I'm not always gonna be running. Like,
right.
At some point, we have to learn how to win just as Team USA. It's less about winning as individuals when it comes to the relay, and it's more about winning as a team. So I just
kills us, and that's a whole nother topic. But it's hard for us to be a team, man. It's hard for us to be collective.
For sure. I think
what leg do you guys prefer on the relay?
I like second or third. I like the inside legs.
Yeah, as a professional, I've never ran last that I really can remember outside of like pin relays, and that was the leg I always ran in college for the most part. So I feel like I had to learn a new leg. Being, I was like, oh, I like second. And they were like, those are other people's legs. I'm like, okay, don't put me first. Put me third. And it was like, maybe we could fit you in. But now I realize, like, I actually like first. The only thing I don't like is now I got to watch all the other 3 legs. And I don't care if I feel like we got the best 3 people. My chest is just like, I'm just like, come on, each leg. You just.
And like, I'm dead and tired, but I'm still trying to cheer.
But I almost like, so now I don't like first leg, but I like the idea of being done. Because then now I'm standing there watching, and Lord, like, let me get the stick in first, which we always do. Now I'm like, oh God, please don't catch me. Please don't let nobody walk me down. Please don't let me throw away what these girls just did.
Yeah, I was the same way in college. Like, I'm a control freak. I wanted to be anchor leg because if we gonna lose, someone needs to come get me, or I need to not get somebody. But then as a pro, I mean, I was never on like Team USA, but with our team, when I was running with Bobby's group. My job was just to give the baton to Allison in first because I would go first, she go second, and she made my life easy. I said, "Here you go, do what you need to do."
Yeah, we haven't had that many different anchor legs as far as I want to say like Team USA that I can remember. I think in 2011, the coach at the time had told Francina like, "You're gonna be the first anchor like outside of like Sonya's been doing this since like 2000 or 2004, and we're in 2011."
Yeah, because Allison's usually second. Someone asked, "Is there a worse leg?" I feel like the last leg would be so pressurized.
So I think it just kind of depends on one, what place you're in, and two, like the type of mentality that you have. You have some people like Rod Benjamin at Worlds when he was gonna be on anchor. I remember him saying like, "Man, I kind of wish we was behind a little bit so I can go get him." I'm like, "Huh?"
That's the best. That's the best part.
That's
when
what
the
I like.
I love I love blood in the water. Like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't like running from.
And so it just kind of depends. But then he was like, if I'm in the front, like it's also like, okay, I know they coming and I'm gonna be coming too. Like you're gonna have to come hard. So, I think it just kind of depends on
it's a part of being a
the
professional,
athlete.
right? We all have our preferences of like how we, but at the end of the day, the job has to get done from behind or the front. So
at the end of the day,
for sure,
be in the front when we cross the finish line. Like, however you got to get it, get it.
Get it. Exactly. All right. Well, Jess, thank you for joining us. I just want to ask, what's next? Next year is a world championship year. Then we also have, a very short Olympic cycle. Are we going to go for another team? What's the plans?
I'm not really sure.
No pressure.
Tell us your life.
I'm not really sure. I would. So initially, like before COVID hit, my plan was like, you know what? Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be done after Worlds because it's in like, it's in the US. Like that was originally my thing. I was like, make the team. And then when I just missed the team by that spot, I'm just like, my sister, she's like, come on, sissy. Like, I think it's only 3 years. I'm just like, woo, another 3 years of training. Another
I don't think people understand that. When people ask me that, I'm like, I'm looking forward to not training like this anymore. Yeah. Like, of course, I'll continue to train and stay fit.
Yeah.
But the way that we train, yeah.
It's something. So a part of me is like, one thing I for sure wanted to do is finish my degree. I want to be a high school AD, and so a part of my degree plan for this semester is actually like a practicum internship somewhere that I have to figure out, somewhere in Houston or Austin or somewhere that's not too far of a drive if I have to. And then a part of me is like, dang, what if I get like, what happened if I get a job as as something that I want to do after sport? Like, do I turn that down because I'm like, so, I feel like that's always been my life. Oh, I really want to, but I got to train. Oh, I really want to, but I'm going to Worlds. Oh, I really want to, but I have USAs. Like, that's always been it. And so I think it just kind of depends. I for sure want to do 2022, especially it being in Oregon, but I just don't know. I think if somebody convinces me to go to 2023, I probably will try 2024, but they would have to convince me to go to 2023, and I just don't know about that. So that's my goals. Like I said, eventually, I love inspiring people. I love helping and reaching out, but I also just want to use my platform for other things I'm passionate about. Yeah, I love kids, and I want to help them, get into whether it's trade school, into college. I want to help coach, other athletes, especially young girls who are like, wow, you're from where I'm from, and you've gone to these places. So me too. And so I'm like, man, I want to be hands-on. And so that's my main focus. And so I'll just kind of see how the how the cards lay. Like I said, 2022 for sure. But if I decide to retire after 2022, I'm okay with that. And if I decide to keep pushing for 2024, y'all pray for me. Y'all eat for me.
Y'all
Eat all the things that I ain't gonna be able to have. And somebody got to let me play with their kids. Like, hey, do something.
So it sounds like
because there is life after track.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really great point, because I feel like track. I always tell people track
your life on hold.
Yeah, it's like I tell people it's not a job; it's a lifestyle. Like it's what I eat, how I sleep, like all that. And there's so many like we are more than athletes. Like we have other interests, other skills, other talents. But a lot of times we don't get to explore those because track is so consuming that we have to put so many things on the backward. I remember this one guy. He was like, I never see you out, Corey. How come you don't? I was like, I practice. Right. He was like, but I practice. And I was like, the only day I don't have practice is Sunday, and I use that day to prepare myself to get ready for practice.
Oh my God.
And so I'm glad that you have like a plan to explore because you clearly have so many gifts and you have such a giving heart. I think everything she said, she was just like, I want to help this person. I want to help kids. I want to.
So by the way, I'm gonna be hitting you up to come and talk to my NHF girls. So
yeah, for sure, because I'll be back in College Station, just a little hop, skip in the drive. Y'all look fabulous. By the way, y'all didn't tell me that I was supposed to be looking fabulous. Y'all,
it's track girl
I took a look at the and you showing them how track girls do, because I feel like people only see us like this. They don't see us like how y'all looking, but we
got to have or two.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll have you back for the 400, and
okay.
You can...
And you, first of all, someone said this in the beginning. They said Jessica Beard has the best smile in the game, so all you got to do is wear that, and you're great.
You look bomb.
I'm looking at the comments. Someone said that they're learning so much about track and field through this show, and that's the whole reason we're doing it, because I feel like not a lot of people understand exactly what we do.
We are bringing the culture to track and field.
And then someone says, with crazy busy schedules, do you guys like meal prepping? Or do you have another method to help with meals during a tough training week? I'll let Jessica go and tell what you do.
I don't like meal prepping, just because I don't like heating my food up. I normally try to cook for like the next day. So I normally, like, if I cook, it's also something I can eat the next day. I'm a snacker. If people are hungry, they're like, what snacks do you have? I'm the person that's bringing my little strappable cooler on my shoulder to practice, because I don't prep, I guess, for the long run. But yes, I'm prepping like, okay, you're going from here to the weight room in 45 minutes. Where's your protein? Where I have like yogurt, fruit for sure. So I do prep in that sense.
Reps.
Okay, no.
For sure. I have, I'll do nuts. It depends on the workout. Some things I'm just like, who got the water in the shade? Because I can't even take anything. But I am that person. I don't necessarily meal prep over a lot of days, but I will cook maybe for like the next day. And because I enjoy cooking, so being in the kitchen is something I'm just like, I love being in here. It's like solace. That's me.
Cook all your food.
I like no, Natasha's got the cheat code. Okay, let me tell you guys something. I was over here getting ready for the show, trying to do stuff, and I was exhausted, tired, hungry, and her mom was like, "Oh, I cooked a little something." Gourmet meal. Gourmet meal. I hugged your mom several times this night over this meal. I held that woman dear in my arms.
Went back for seconds.
I wanted to go back for thirds, but I didn't want to be rude. Natasha is blessed beyond measure. Okay, her cup runneth over, and I'm over here.
I have a good life.
I'm over here trying to cook myself a grilled chicken, and she's got her mom throwing down. I'm like,
oh yeah, you haven't had the payload yet, but
yeah. Here's the thing. I asked this woman to adopt me. No shade to my mom. I love you.
No shade to Lena.
Because she's just out of town. Because my mom does cook when she's in town.
She out of town.
She's trying to find that $19 Frontier flight to get out here. But
do you know if you buy Frontier or Spirit at the airport, it's cheaper? Did you know that? Like, okay, so we were gonna buy tickets that cost like $130.
See?
We went to the airport; they were $42.99.
See?
Same ticket, same round trip ticket. Frontier and Spirit, I don't know about Spirit all the time. You might not get where you going, but with Frontier,
That's the thing. I'm like, I need my mom to land here.
Find their hub. Find their hub. Find their hub. If you find their hub cities, the plane might get there. If you going where you just got an overnight bag, best of luck to you. But if you, I'm trying to tell you, I didn't know that you'll save at least $30 by buying those tickets at the airport. Nobody else works like that. But
you guys don't.
I'm not trying to shout them out. I'm just trying to get people to save because I'm big on saving money.
Yes.
So if you're gonna plan on using those airlines, buy them at the airport so you can save money.
So you guys don't eat during workouts? No. I'm the type of person like, you know how some people like to run on an empty stomach? I like to be like, if I'm a little hungry, I'll pass out on you. So I will be.
Do you eat breakfast in the morning?
I eat breakfast, lunch. I'm a mealer, but I also like to have I eat all the time.
What I'm about to say, what you eat for breakfast? Oatmeal?
It depends. Like, I'll usually
eat oatmeal, but that
oatmeal.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. It has to be oatmeal and a smoothie, or I like to do like an omelet or
eggs?
A breakfast burrito.
You doing an omelet before practice?
This is the thing. Oh, and
oh wow.
Unless it's weights. Weights, I'll just have like a smoothie and then I'll like eat. I'll have breakfast after weights and then I'll go to practice. But I eat, and then I'll eat during practice. Like, ask all the kids know if you need some. If you're like, oh, I'm hungry, like, go ask Court. She probably has something in her bag.
All right, we'll take this one last question. How much do your agents and peeps take care of, or are you on your own figuring out your meal stuff? Agents do track meets and contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you eating is on you.
I can't train on empty stomach. Someone asked if we train. Yeah. No,
I at least have to have.
I have to eat.
If anything at all, I have to have a smoothie. But better to have breakfast.
So Jess, thank y'all for having me,
joining us. Everybody, look out for Jess. If you refreshed your browser, Tummy Tuesday is down below. Also, make sure that you follow Jess on Instagram, Twitter, Rain2, Facebook too,
and YouTube.
Rain, on Twitter, Run to Rain, Rain Gold. I try to put Rain, just to keep it consistent, somewhere in there. So
just look for Rain and you'll find her.
All right.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank you for doing this for the chat community. Yes.
Bring the culture.
Yes.
Jessica's one of my favorite people. Yeah. We need to bring her back with Phyllis because them together.
Oh yeah, Philly Phil.
Yes. Well, for sure have to do it. If I'm in Austin, me and Phyllis can be like at the same place, and we can.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Are you vaccinated?
Okay. For sure. Because my mom wouldn't give me a hug without when I only had one shot. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Right. My mom's down there like, oh wow. Okay. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
Right. Bye. So we only have 17% left on the camera.
But hold on, camera.
So we're going
camera that you forced us to use. No,
listen, we're gonna figure it out.
Someone said they really enjoy. Yes, Jessica's great. Like she's one of those people who just like energy, like always positive vibes. Mm-hmm. She really took me under like my first team. She could tell you some stories.
We all need one of those on the team.
Yeah,
I had a few of those
because I was young, didn't know what was going on. I wasn't even trying to make the team. Just ended up on there. And Jessica Lord. Was just like, come on.
That is a Corey story.
Seems like she's such a positive. Someone can really look up to. No, like everything about her is just positive energy, inspiration. Mm-hmm. Like you could just see it when she talked about all the things she wanted to do. Everything was about helping people,
uplifting others. Yep. Great spirit. All right. Well, we've got 16%. Bob's plugging our guests for tomorrow. We've got Megan Clark, pole vaulter, and Justin Robinson in the 400 who will be joining us to chat tomorrow. We've got one last topic that we're gonna wrap it up with before the camera dies, but it's perfect timing. We're gonna make it to like a little less than 2
It's
hours.
crazy that I've watched. That's the whole reason why we're doing this show, is because I've been saying, like, track and field has so many amazing personalities, and one of the reasons why I'm a fan is, like, I love the performances, but I also just love the people, and that's why I root for these people, because I feel like, we always get on topic, but I just really want people to really get an inside view of what we do, and also the people who these people are, so that they can, like, be invested in our sport, because I feel like that's something that's missing in our sport, is, like, we're trying to bring y'all culture.
The connection, the culture. Yes.
Someone said.
Cecilia, we started at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, and we will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard.
But you can rewatch from the beginning.
This stream will live on all of our YouTubes, Track Girl Summer YouTube, Natasha Hastings, Corey Carter. It's on Twitter. I just retweeted it, so if you need to go back and watch the live, you can go back there and see the
you
playback.
Do need to do better, Cecilia, but we're not going to hold it on you, because this is the first day. We're learning as a group, as a unit. But Cecilia,
but I feel like we're doing fairly well. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we managed that. We pivoted to another topic, and when Jess came back, we went right back to you know, we're doing it.
And I am a mess, but I'm a hot mess. Okay.
Don't forget the hot. Emphasis on hot. All right, let's hit the last topic.
Okay, so we've been talking about Tokyo, getting back into that. I still just feel like I need to see an itemized list of the budget. I want to know what y'all spending this money on, where this $15.4 billion goes.
Well, some of it's on COVID testing.
Okay, so then we go back to the $11 billion. Like, I just need to know why the athletes are on cardboard. And why some of the athletes are on cardboard, because if
it's sustainable. Because
how come throwers get the beds and I don't?
I don't know. $2.4 billion in TV and revenue. Now we can have the discussion about, like, where all of this money is going, because
it's not to the athletes.
Only the IOC sees it, and that's a whole nother conversation.
It's not going to the athletes, because we don't get.
Yeah, okay. It's not going to.
We talked about this before, but I need to just hammer this down one more time. What other?
15% on the battery, but go ahead.
It would be quicker if you just let me. Okay, the point of the matter is what other job do you go to and you're the talent? They're making money off of your image, and you don't see a dime of that. You only get money if you win.
You only get money if you win a medal, and the money comes from your NGB. And if you're lucky enough to have a sponsorship, your sponsorship will pay you a bonus. But so we don't see any of that $13 billion that it costs to put on the Olympics.
And the Olympics are us. Like, and I'm talking about all the athletes. I'm not just talking about track. I'm talking about, like, y'all should be paying these athletes.
I don't disagree, but I think it's
not an appearance fee, like
back to the culture of things, because as I was doing some research before, once upon a time you could only compete in the Olympics if you were an amateur. So the culture of the games is amateurism.
But the games have changed into a professional money-making machine, billions of dollar industry.
Saying we have to know the history and why things work the way they work before we can go in and change.
No, I understand the history. I understand the amateurism. What I'm saying is that the Olympics has turned into a beast of a money-making machine.
Agreed.
And part of it is because of the whole point of it is to see these athletes to put on amazing performances. And the athletes are the talent. You're making all this money. Give the athletes, whether it's $1,000 just to show up.
Well, it's not only just not the athletes, but also every city, once the Olympics leaves, is like left in financial ruin, which is a huge issue that Japan is having, and why they even had the Olympics, I believe, because a lot of people in Tokyo didn't even want the games to come, because Japan they're in a state of emergency. COVID is rising and continuing to rise. And the games still happened, and I think largely because Tokyo has spent all this money, and they're trying now, and there's no spectators, no ticket
they can't get
sales.
that money. no ticket sales, no food sales, no merchandise sales. Like,
I believe there's still some merchandise.
I'm saying, like, I'm at the games,
you're not going to
buying
make back
a t-shirt.
15 billion taxpayer dollars. Like, that's the other thing. The taxpayers of that city of the host country, pays for the Olympics to happen.
Well, I'm not talking to Tokyo. I'm talking to the IOC, and I'm saying, how are you putting on a show that's like, I go to Broadway, and I don't pay the actors, the dancers, and then I'm like, well, if we get a Tony, we'll cut you off a little change. But if not, thanks for your performance.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying it
I
rests
know.
in the history of the whole idea of the Olympic Games. Like,
the Olympic Games are not
at once upon a time you couldn't compete in the Olympics if you were a professional.
I get that. I'm saying, like, it is, everything else in the Olympics has progressed. Mm-hmm. So you know one of my missions in life is just to get other people money and secure everyone I love bags.
Agreed. Cecilia, why are y'all considered amateurs when you're living, working like professionals? I'm not saying that we now. Yeah. In a lot of instances, we still behave like amateurs. It's another conversation, but behavior and reality are two different things. I'm just saying that the history of the Olympics and athletes competing in the Olympics, and this is all sports, not just track and field, is amateurism. Mm-hmm. And I read somewhere that there was like a baseball player or maybe a football player that competed, won medals, and was actually disqualified after the fact because he came home and like joined a professional baseball team. Like, competing in the Olympics was the spirit of amateurism. Mm-hmm. But as Corey's pointing out, the games, the nature of the games has changed, and so we need to catch up with the time because it's clearly not amateurs competing in the Olympics, and we should be paid for our
this is our job. This is how
Thank you.
This is what we do. You wouldn't go to any other meet where they're like, well, actually we do, but that's a different story. I guess what I'm figuring out is, what is amateurism anyways? Y'all need to make bread. So, like, for example, you have to be an amateur to compete in college sports or
meaning you don't get paid. You can't get paid for it. That's what amateurism means.
You can get like a stipend as far as like if you like when we were in college, high school, and we were making teams, they could pay for our flight, our lodging, and our meals, but I couldn't win prize money at juniors.
Right, which is why what we're seeing at the NCAA level is happening is so huge because Cecilia, yes, you're supposed to be high level on this side, and believe it or not, even in this modern day and age, there are a lot of athletes at the Olympics right now that do work full-time jobs. Mm-hmm. And they're still there. This is like their side hustle, their side gig,
especially like in track and field. Like, I think it's like the average.
And we focus a lot on track and field, but I guarantee you there's 50 sports that I don't even know about half of them.
Like,
that they're probably working full-time jobs on top of competing in the Olympics, training for the Olympics. And,
But I feel like it's the average salary for a track athlete
is like $15,000 a year.
I thought it was $30,000. Gosh.
Oh, for a track athlete. I'm sorry. I did the Olympic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like $30,000. And so if that's the average, that means a lot of people are making less than that. And like, if you aren't lucky enough, like some athletes have contracts with these companies, these shoe companies, and all they're getting is gear. Like, they're not getting actually paid for it. In fact, this is the point where like USA Track and Field did a whole like program where you could work for Dick's Sporting Goods, so that you can like continue your Olympic dream. And they understood that you were an athlete, so they would work with your.
And no shade, because here's what I realized: like, we're privileged in being sponsored athletes.
Yeah.
To the point where I didn't even know how expensive a pair of training shoes are or tights are, and so even to the point that like some athletes only get that stuff, it's expensive to train, and like we're just talking about equipment, but then you still have to pay your coach, your recovery, your diet, all of these things are still go into you being this professional athlete.
I wasn't shading them for like only getting gear. But I also think it's like when I say they only get gear, it's like we're getting paid to wear their gear, and now they're using gear as payment. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, like, if other people are getting paid,
I'm not saying that it's shady, but I'm also saying it's the necessary part of doing what we do, and so if that expense is taken care of for you,
yeah, I get what you're saying. I feel like I feel like they know that there's value in having their logo on your body when you're competing, and I think gear is nothing. Well, gear is expensive to someone who like doesn't have a contract. It's nothing to them.
But I also think too much of the argument is placed on the shoe companies as opposed to the leagues being the one paying the athletes, because the NFL pays their players.
Yeah.
The football players, their contracts don't look like our contract from shoe companies. unless you're Metcalf or, you know, Tom Brady. They're only getting $10,000 in year. They're not getting, so that's another conversation that we put a lot of pressure on these shoe companies to carry the sport. When really the money should be coming from an IOC, or not even an IOC, because your NGD should be paying. I mean, the global situation, it should be a team thing. But we're getting way off topic here.
Someone asked a question: "Is do you guys compete in meets?" Yeah,
my battery's dying.
We definitely. Well, we got 50. Okay. Well, we do compete at meets where we don't get paid, like especially like if we want to
Texas
compete.
relays, meets, Mount Tech is starting to do a little pay.
And a lot of times the good thing is like I feel like we come down on our governing bodies, but like USA Track and Field does have like a program that like if there's a meet that like you want to go to, and they'll provide funding for travel so you can get there and not have to come out of your pocket to pay for a hotel and a flight. But yeah, there's certain meets that's like this. I don't go to the country, or this meet works with my training schedule, and so we'll go to meets that are smaller and they don't pay you, but we kind of use those as like training tools.
Yeah. Exhibition races.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to end at like 15 minutes early because I don't want the camera to cut off and we don't do our farewells and say bye-bye. But thank you for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed us. Hopefully you'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place.
I literally learned who our guests were. But let's
bring some folks back. Share the link. You know, we do this on the YouTube. Share the link, like the link. If you missed it, if you signed on late, you can go back to YouTube. We'll retweet it for you to watch the playback. But we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back with more guests.
We'll be back with
Megan Clark and Justin Robinson. And we're bringing you the culture.
I had a good time, Natasha.
I did too.
I'm glad you're my co-host.
I'm glad you're my co-host.
Aw, it's a track girl summer. And cut.
Except we're still on the screen.
Yeah, well, like.
Oh yeah, follow us. Follow us, Track Girl Summer on Instagram. Follow World's Greatest on Instagram. Follow the Corey Monster. Follow Natasha Hastings. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Do I turn the camera off?
I don't know. Like, you're in charge of the camera stuff. I am here.
like
I do comedic